And we are live. Hello, Bart.
Bored. Like when you're extremely bored,
Okay. It's okay.
Good to meet
Board.
you, Evan.
Board. Famous guitar player from Clawfinger. How are you?
I'm very good. Even though the circumstances,
Yeah.
it's rather strange. We are. I live in Norway, and we are not that really hard affected by it as the rest of Europe. It's better here.
Mm.
It's. I guess it's something they. I mean, the government has been really good, and also it's further between people here. It's like it's not that tight populated. So that's
Yes.
some kind of a helps, I think. So it's some kind of a normal life up here, but still, I take all the precautions, and I sometimes I have to have my office at home. So yeah.
Oh, that's good. Well, here in France is not good. we
Ah,
are in lockdown since 1 month. It will be 2 months.
mm,
Yeah, it's kind of weird. It's like living in a sci fiction show.
yeah. If you go back like 2 years and you say that this will happen, it's like a
It will
fuck.
be,
It's
yeah,
like
it will be a great
horror.
storyboard of a sci-fi film.
Yeah, exactly. So it's really weird to think of it that way. But I mean, in the middle of it, it's like, okay, we have to some kind of way try to normalize our lives and everything. But I can see that especially for kids, it's pretty hard.
Mm.
Lonely people and kids are really hard affected. That's what I see here.
Yes, yeah, I think everywhere is the same. So talking about more stuff than the pandemic, uh, do you think you can introduce yourself to our dear audience?
Hello, dear audience. My name is Ward, and I'm the guitar player of a band called Clawfinger, which I guess you've forgotten about because it's like from ancient times back in the 90s. We have some hits, and still we try to make a living out of playing music. And sometimes we manage to do that. And if you want to ask me some questions, I'm here. Just go ahead and ask.
Well, I have a lot of questions. First of all, why? Why Clawfinger?
I had a dream. I mean, I'm really old. I'm very, very old. So back in the 80s, I had a
Sure.
dream of trying to make a living out of playing music.
Mm.
And I tried very much doing that from home, my small hometown where I live now. But I couldn't manage to do it. I tried for like 12 years, 10, 12 years. And then in 1990, I decided to move to Stockholm because that was like the center of popular music in Scandinavia. So me and some bandmates moved over there, and I got totally broke, and I needed to work, and I found some work at the hospital. And on this hospital, the other guys in the band worked. So it's like we met up, and it's like found the common interest in music, and we decided to try to make a band, because also it was really fortunate because Zach, he didn't, he was like always walking in corridors of the hospital rapping, and we were like heavy metal guitar players. And so I said to my friend, fuck, we should try to make some kind of a try to meet him and try to make some music with like hard rock and rap, because it's like 3 songs in the world. Nobody who made an album, So we decided to ask him, and we asked him, and he said, "Yeah, let's try." And we started working on songs back in I think it was September 1990, and it was pretty hard in the beginning because we didn't know what to do.
But the name, my question was about the name.
And I
Clawfinger.
answer.
But no, that's great. I
It's
didn't know that you
word.
guys were started
Yeah.
working on a hospital.
It's
That's awesome.
just a fucking word, you know. It's like it's we needed to find a name, and if you say Clawfinger in Scandinavian language, it's a person that can keep his hands of anything. He needs to touch everything, you know.
Ah, okay.
Like maybe be a pickpocket or whatever. He's Clawfinger. So, and that word is with a K. So we decided to just change the K and add a double.
Oh, that's great.
Clawfinger.
So
word game.
Have a real meaning in Norwegian, but not that much in English. But that's great because stick is I thought that was a great name. But of course, I want to talk about everything you already told us. But I will like to go even before. Cheers. It's cold.
Ghost.
How you started with music? You say you grew out in a little town in Norway.
I started playing clarinet in a school band back when I was 10 years old. I didn't start in the band because I was so interested in music, but all my friends went there, so I just had to go there. And I started playing clarinet, and I wasn't particularly interested, but it some kind of way gave me a lot of foundation in music, playing that band, you know. And when I was like 15, 16, we started starting a band, you know, and like in, I guess, I think I was 17 when I first started playing in a band. And we played just covers, you know,
And you were right away seduced by the guitar, or?
Yeah, that was pretty weird because I wasn't, as I said, you know, it's like when I started playing in a band at 17, it's like somebody buy a motorcycle, you know, to show off, you know, and you could play guitar, and that's also showing off. But then I got myself a guitar, and I was totally, like 3 weeks into this, into guitar playing, I was totally sold. I need to do this for the rest of my life. This is what I want to do.
This is the shit.
This is the shit. So from there, it was like I just rehearsed. And after a couple of years, started writing songs played with some other bands. And as I said earlier, we tried to make a career from here, but it didn't really work because back then it was like the world was much bigger. It was hard to make a band from a small town.
Well, I don't know if it get any easier for young bands now that there are so fucking many. But you were right away influenced by, I don't know, rock or metal.
Yeah, I mean, the first guitar hero ever is it's Richie Blackmore. And then it was like Tony Iommi and Angus Young. And then Eddie Van Halen came, and it's like, wow, this is something totally different. It was like in a different division, you know. It's like in the Champions League, and the other one was like in the lower league, you know.
Yes.
Yeah. So also I started listening to this fusion kind of music between jazz and rock with John McLaughlin and Mahavishnu Orchestra, which is a crossover between jazz and rock. It was like he started doing this in the late 60s, beginning of the 70s. So I've always been very interested in crossover things, to try to make new music and make new music out of different maybe styles that doesn't fit together at all. So I always enjoyed trying to do that.
Yes. No, that's. And your first band was like that? Of course, you were starting playing covers, but when you start to play original music, what was the kind of the style?
The first band was called Theo, and it was like a crossover between metal and punk. So it inspired by the new wave of British heavy metal from the late 70s, but it was maybe a little bit more punk. And after that, it like developed more into metal, because suddenly we knew more than 3 chords, so we could develop our style and everything. And then it was natural to bring it more towards metal. And then it was like, was maybe you went between metal and rock and roll, like Aerosmith, 80s Aerosmith. Yeah. So that's like the 80s for me. With
Yes. And then you moved
big hair and like curly big hair.
And then you moved to Oslo?
To Stockholm.
To Stockholm.
Yeah.
But wait, what's the capital of Norway?
Oslo.
And Stockholm is like
Sweden.
What? What? So you moved from country?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
And what? There's any reason you?
Yeah. Sure. That was a deliberate choice, because we went playing support for a Norwegian big artist, and he was like very kind to us, and he saw that we really burned for making music, and we talked to him, and he was like, "You have to move to Stockholm. That's like the center of for music, for popular music."
Okay.
In Scandinavia today, because if you are there, then it's like easier to make it, because you meet people all the time.
Yeah, it's like Los Angeles in United States.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, that's really interesting. And so then you start to play, but it didn't work very well. So you start to work in a hospital, and then you meet your bandmate.
Yeah, the rest of the idiots worked at the hospital. So then we started to we just decided to try to cross over rap and metal, because Zach had this amazing talent of rapping, and we tried to play some metal guitars, and we started working in September of 1990, working on songs. Then we presented like 5 songs for record companies through a publisher we met that we knew, and we got we could sign for three companies. So we could choose between 3 companies.
What?
it was different, Nobody's done an album with that before. This was before Rage Against the Machine,
Yes.
So then we found this small label called MVG, which they had really like credible Swedish artists. So we knew that these people can we trust, even though the other companies are bigger. These people we can trust, because it's some kind of way it told us through the artists they find, And then we
you signed with them.
Yeah, we signed to them, and like then we worked for 2 years, and up until 92 on demos, and we started recording the first album in fall of 92.
So around that time, who were the original band members?
It was Zach, Jocke, me, and Arendal. We of course we rehearsed with Andre and his brother on bass and drum.
Mm.
So, but like we, the four of us, Jocke, Zach, me, and Ireland, we've been working on this, for many years before Andre Morton came into the picture. So we decided to keep it like we have a fine setting with the four of us. So it was like then we the definition of the band was the four, and then it was two live musicians.
Okay.
And Morton, but I mean, practically today, Andre is in the band, because it's
Sure.
Yeah, he's been so close to us for so
And
long.
he's such a character, I think,
he's a brother. He's a brother.
Sure. So at the beginning, you guys were using kind of, I don't know, state-of-the-art technology for that time, like samplers and synthesizers.
Yeah, we recorded our demos on a 4-track cassette player, but we but we had like Atari. Jocke programmed drums on an Atari, and programmed bass also. So it's like a Seinfeld bass, the Seinfeld?
Yes.
Yeah. Seinfeld bass with metal guitars and rap on top of it. And yeah, but that was enough to present the songs, because the sound isn't important when it's just to show the song for a record company and for the producer. And so we worked, and I think we wrote like 20 songs, and I think we recorded 12 or 13 of them and released 10 on the album, on the first album.
And the first album was
Deaf and Blind.
That is right behind you. No, it's amazing. No, I think that
you're talking about equipment. It's like an Atari, and Jocke, the keyboard player, he's always been very interested in the technology around any instrument. So he went to the music store and he found this speaker simulator called SansAmp. And like, oh, what is this? This is the shit. You don't have to have a loud speaker. You can just plug it directly into the mixer and it sounds like a speaker. This is great, and
yes, but like line 6, like pod before.
Yeah, pod before pod.
Yes.
Then we started using this live as well. That was really funny because no hard rock bands ever played without an amplifier on stage.
Yes.
But I mean, even the bass player didn't have an amp. He also used a SansAmp. So it's like when people got to the gigs, it's like, where the fuck are all the amps?
No, but I found your tone, your guitar tone was so characteristic. Is so characteristic of Clawfinger. The chunkiness with a lot of noise gate. Like chick.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I get hooked from the beginning. I say, I hope one day I get the sound. But at the time, it's really hard to find because it's like every new technology, like synthesizers or samplers, sequencer was so fucking expensive at that time. Especially samplers, you have like seconds to sampler something, and it costs like, I don't know, 3,000.
Yeah. I remember we had like Akai samplers, when it was really expensive, and and you have to use like floppy disks.
And especially if you go on tour, that's kind of really hard to move from one point to another, because I don't know, a drum, yeah, you can ask to the promoter, yeah, I need this drum with this specification. But if you ask, yeah, I need an Akai sampler with this, I don't know how you did it at that time. You move with all the gear.
I mean, that's a very big advantage if you travel by plane, It's like your guitar rig is this big, so that's perfect, you know. And Jocke also, he luckily is very technologically clever, and he you know, all the time he improved, getting new stuff for the setup, you know, for
to make it more compact.
even more compact.
Yeah,
And he brought his sampler on tour, you know. So sometimes we ask for a MIDI keyboard, you know,
sure.
when
Yeah,
and he had his sampler, and that's it, you know. And I had
and
my
the
amp and the
and
bass
the
player.
drummer was playing with a click.
No, he played with a monitor.
Really?
Yeah, it's a lot of. I mean, it's a lot of lots of loops going on. You know, it's like
Yes.
a drum loop, program drum loops, and drums on top of it. That's very typical Clawfinger sound, you know, and that's very strong out of the monitors for the drummer to play.
Okay.
The drummer we have now, he doesn't use a click, but he has the headset as well, you know, with powerful monitors and a headset.
Sure.
With,
Oh, that's great.
yeah,
I didn't.
you
I
can play
never
all
imagined that.
loops, you know. Jocke plays all the loops from the keyboard, and
Hmm.
that's also an advantage if we sometimes play wrong. I mean, if you
Yes.
click and you play wrong, you're fucked.
Yes, you're right.
Start the loop again, you know. So
Yeah.
that's the advantage.
Mm. And you also kind of fall in love with technology, like, because I remember back in the day I saw a picture of you with several like pod line 6, like you have like 4, I don't know, or
No,
2, or
no, I don't think so.
maybe it was not you. I'm just talking shit. But
Yeah.
you were using that, no?
Yeah, I used SandSamp, and then I went to the pod.
Hmm.
Uh,
But you were using one.
yeah, only
Okay.
one, like the
That's,
kid pod, you know.
yes,
Mm.
but I still have it.
Yeah. Me too, but I can't find my power supply. So if you have two, can you please?
Yeah, sure. I send you after the podcast finish.
Yeah.
No, Sante. Because now I live in France, you know. That's weird. Uh, so I don't know. I always, well, I love your band. One of my favorite bands ever, because for me it was kind of the perfect mix between, you know, a politic message, but also fun. You know, you guys never take yourself so seriously. You know, was not like Race Against the Machine. You know, was like there was some political message, but you were always you know, fun, and the sound, you were such a characteristic sound, and I don't know, the mix before Rammstein were doing the stuff. You never noticed that maybe there are some riffs that can resemble some of the Clawfingers stuff? No.
Nah, I don't think so. I don't know. I never thought of it that way.
Because one time, you know, the Crips. Well, of course, you know.
Yeah.
He found out that they used one of his riff, and he sued them. So now in that song, you can read in the credits Jürgen Engel.
Yeah, I mean, these guys, you know, we toured a lot with Rammstein. So I mean,
At what time, when they were big, or
it
when they
started
were started?
in the beginning. It was like Jacob Hellner. He produced us the first album, and then they asked for him to Rammstein asked for him to produce the album, their first album. So that started a link, you know, some kind of way.
Ah, yes, yeah, because I remember you guys made a remix for Ransom, maybe 2.
Yeah, 3, I think.
Mm.
I think we did. Jokke did Du hast, and we did Die Sonne, and we did Links,
Mm.
and I did like a jazz remix of Keine Lust.
Cool. But
Yeah, but
these guys ever recognize that you guys were an influence?
yeah, I was about to say something about it, because when they
Sorry.
when we then shared the same producer, they were, nobody knew about them, and we were touring. So they, the record company asked if they could join us for a small tour in, I think it was Switzerland, Czech Republic, and Poland. So they joined us as a support band. So they played like
Wow.
some gigs, back in '94, I think it was. That was a great. I mean, I loved it. I watched. I never watched the support band, but I did then. And after that, it was like payback time in 2001. We just released a new album, and they did. And then they asked us if you wanted to join them first on a German tour, like 20 gigs in ice stadiums, really big. They were really huge then. And
sure.
we went on a European tour with them. That was fantastic.
Wow.
It was absolutely great. So that was the payback. So we played.
Okay. Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah. So I like these guys. They are really good people.
Yes, and they that first tour when Rammstein was opening for Clawfinger, how was the setup? Was already with flames, firework?
I remember in Austria, it's like I was sitting, it was like the end of the set of Rammstein, and I saw like 5-6 songs. I got back to the dressing room, and it was kind of low up to the ceiling, and it was like wooden bars and stuff, in the ceiling, and it's like suddenly one of the local crew came running into the dressing room. The stage is on fire.
No, fuck. Really?
Yeah. Yeah, but it was okay, because they had precautions, so they could like take out the flames and everything. So it went really well. It was really funny when he came running into the
wow. Yeah.
They had like a flamethrower and everything back then, and the mic stand going up like this, and so it was some kind of way.
A lot of production.
Yeah, but it's like clever because they were a support band. Still, they could manage to do this, without like rebuilding the whole stage, So they're clever people.
So they start all their stuff. They burn everything on fire, and they have to take all that out so you guys can play. No?
Yeah, but as I said, they were clever. So it was like really smart German engineering,
Germans.
Yeah.
No, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I remember. I opened for them once, and it was really scary because there's so many. But this was like I don't know how many years. Maybe 10 or 12 years. No, 15 years ago. But they were already huge. They play in Chile, in a huge stadium, and there was cables and gasoline everywhere. You have a scare to, press the wrong button or you will gonna blow up.
See what you mean?
Yes. No, that's crazy.
Yeah, but if you're a headliner, then it's like, and a very good thing about Rammstein, I think one of the reasons that they are that so big is like they invest all their money into the show. It's like they it's like, okay, we sold that many tickets, then the show can be like even bigger. It's like They are very like
but
how to get fans.
they set a bar, so now they can just go and play, with a t-shirt, and people will throw the stuff.
I mean, if you saw the show on the previous tour back in 2019, I mean, it's really amazing.
No, I'm sure of that.
And if you see like the stage build, it's like they have two of them because it's too slow to build up one, so they have to have one building in Amsterdam while the other one is playing in Berlin, so it's like double setup.
So much work. Now, but getting back to Clawfinger, for me, you guys were clearly an influence for that kind of sound, because the mix you do with the synthesizer, samplers, and heavy guitars, even if, of course, Zach was not singing in German with a lower voice, for me, it's the influence is there. So I don't know. It's just my appreciation.
Yeah, I mean, I'm too much of an insider to understand this because I'm writing the songs of one of these bands, and I don't think it sounds like the other band at all. But if you're a listener, you listen with totally different ears,
Yeah, sure.
If I listen to your music, it's like I'm sure I have a total different angle in than what you have, I guess.
Yeah, of course. So you released Deaf Dumb Blind, and right away you went on tour and traveled the world, or
we played.
Was a slow build up?
No, it was like fucking rocket. It's like I never expected anything like that because we released the album in April, and nobody knew who we were. And in June, we played Roskilde, which is the biggest festival in Scandinavia. And they hadn't even booked us, It's like when the record was released, it's like boom, and then hey, we got to get this band. We need an extra band. We need to put them in here, So it was like, so we played Roskilde like 3 months later, and after that it was like, I mean, the first year we played I think 160 gigs.
Wow.
And that was from like the first tour was like 10 shows around Sweden. And then I think we played some 10 small shows in Norway. And after that, it was like, okay, it's time to go to Germany and blah, 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 And then Europe started to happen. And suddenly it was a lot of people on the gigs, like a couple of thousand on the gigs and stuff, It was like just a month later. We played. I was the order. I was a little bit wrong about the order now because we played support for Alice in Chains in
what?
Yeah,
really?
In '93.
That's amazing.
Like I think it was like the summer or something, or in the spring. And then we had played Anthrax, like 35 gigs all over Europe with Anthrax. Wow. At the end of '94. But after that, it was like we played for ourselves, We didn't need to be a support band anymore, and we filled up venues. So and then we were really tired. We went home and started working on the second album straight away, like back in I think it was late '94, early '95. So we wrote like hell, and we released the album in the second album in '95, and went straight out on tour again. And we like, then we were really tired. So when we got back home, then we said, we need a break. Otherwise, we would become like drug addicts and divorced.
Yes.
So we just
try to find a balance.
Really slow. Yeah, we need to find a balance. So we took it really slow before the third album. So we had like some months off, and then we started slowly working on the third album. Yeah.
And but in the first album, what were the Cheers. I need to get more. What was the song that really create the
I mean, it was. I mean,
or
the
was the whole album?
the confrontation of the song called "Nigger" in the beginning was, of course, like opening everybody's ears like this. It's like, what the fuck is happening
You
here?
imagine? You imagine? You released this song in 2020.
What? Excuse me?
If you release that song, but now.
Yeah. I mean, it's
Whatever.
yeah. The comment
No,
on
for me, I think it's great.
Yeah.
It's a great song because you already catch your attention, and then you listen the lyrics, you read the words, and you say, "Okay, wow, this is a powerful message." You
Yeah.
know.
It was also written. I mean, Zach wrote it before we started the band. So it was like, I mean, the late 80s. It was really when all the new rap artists, arrived to Europe and all the videos, and they started using this word. And it's like sitting in Scandinavia watching it was like, what? This is weird. Wow. Like that's where it came from. That's where the lyrics started, I think.
Yeah, because the idea of Zach is try to explain that they don't have to use this really charged word to I don't know. It's kind of weird because it's a white guy explaining to the black community how to. But
that's and that's the way it is. It's very controversial and it's very confronting.
But I think it came from a good place.
We absolutely. I mean, we are totally anti-racist, and that's this song also. I mean, you can read it
very clear.
So, but it might. I don't know if it's wrong or right, but it definitely makes everybody speak about racism.
Yes.
This song has created a lot of good discussions, a lot of good talking about racism, and that's. I think that's some kind of way makes it a good thing.
Sure. No, I completely agree. And then after Deaf the Blind came.
That's Use Your Brain?
Yes.
Was I right? No?
Yes. You win a Clawfinger CD.
Yeah.
No, that I love that album. Yeah. For me, that create really because a really perfect mix between electronics and metal for me is.
Thank you, Ivan. We, as I told you, we started really fast. I mean, we didn't have much vacation after this hard Deaf and Blind tour. We just went straight into recording new demos for new songs and writing, and it was really a really quick process. I think it was March 95 or something. This album was released. I think, I'm not sure. At least it was in 95. Maybe it was the fall. I can't remember, but we didn't have much time.
95.
And we just started working, and we went straight out on tour again. So
yeah, it's kind of the drill. You release one thing and you have to go on tour to promote it. No, that's
and then we need a follow-up now, because now it's really hot, so you need another one very quick. Please go for it now. The record company is like that. It's like, okay, okay.
Yeah, and then it's Clawfinger.
Yeah.
What you didn't find a name?
We couldn't find name, so it was like, here is Clawfinger.
Yes. And what about the song? Because sorry, I'm going back to what I say. How this idea came to fruition? It's like, yeah, I have an idea. We're gonna sample a little kid.
Yeah, I had this riff, going, and was like up tempo, and then I read the book by
It sounded like drum and bass.
yeah.
Hmm.
I read a book about how children brought up and how it affects them, and Zach needed to get some input to write lyrics, and it's like, yeah, I read this book now. I told him, so like, okay. Then I have the idea, and he just start writing, and it's like, he really gets it together so quickly. He's so talented, to both lyrically and ideas.
And the sampler.
And then it's like, we need a chorus. How do we do this chorus? We use a contrast, total contrast,
Sure.
This hard riff, and then boom, it stops, and it's and then it was like the two stepsons of our producer. It's like, they can sing this because this is about children, there were verses, so they could sing, when I grow up, there will be a day. It was like, one was like, I don't know, 9 years, and one was 12 or something. And then the youngest one, he sang, and the older one, he screamed, So it was a pretty good outcome, I think. It's a different song.
It's so original for me. It's crazy. It's I in my head was like, how they get there, because it's fixed perfect with the music. It's not like you take a sampler of a movie and you use it to put it in a song. No, it's part of the song.
Yeah.
No.
When after been playing 160 gigs on the previous album, just going directly into songwriting, of course we are very, very, very close. And things, I guess that affects the music as well, so it's like, it just sounds natural.
Yes. No, that's
maybe that's a reason.
Yeah, it could be. But for me, it like I was saying before, you have a like very charged political song like Nigger, but you also have this kind of fun song, but at the same time, these have a cool message, like everything that you do to your kids, finally they will gonna get affected by it.
That's the whole reason behind the song, It's like, if you scream like, don't do this, don't do that,
Yes.
if you go like this, it's like, it will get back to you, and it will get back to the world,
Yes.
So find a more
a different way to do it. Yeah, and I love then with the Clawfinger album, Biggest and the Best. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
I think that was Jokke and Zach working together. It's like, sometimes, when we make songs, it's like we go to the studio and we maybe, it takes a lot of time to get everything together. But I think this was one of the Jokke and Zach moments. It was like, they was just sitting there, and he was doing the riff, Jokke was doing the riff, and Zach was doing these lyrics, and they just started working. I think it was these two people, because I wasn't there when this song was made.
Because it have a lot of electronics, that song. It started with no guitars. No, it's
and the perfect opening line: "Nobody's perfect, but I'm pretty fucking close." Chorus for the whole album,
Yes. No, for me, I love that song. It's so heavy, but fun at the same time. No, it's No, it's great. So I would like to talk about, if you don't mind, about your guitar tone, because it always fascinates me.
Mhm.
What gear you was using around that time? At the time of
We used back then. We used the Sansamp. I had like the classic Sansamp Classic,
hmm?
the pedal this big, and really crappy Ibanez EQ with like, you know, and that was it.
What? No, I was expecting a rack of stuff.
No,
But for example, the noise gate.
sorry about
Uh,
this. I have to tell you a story about this because I had
yes.
a side project, and I went to Los Angeles, and they have heard like the albums, and so it's like when I got to the studios, a lot of people was really curious because this guitar tone is so cool, So and I came with like my guitar on my back, and it's a lot of people in the studio, and I had a plastic bag with a Sansamp and the crappy EQ, and set it up and plugged it in, and people went, "What?
There was
What? This? It's this what you do? Yeah, it's like it sounds good, doesn't it? You don't have to have a big rack. It's like a pedal. It's worth maybe 200 pounds.
Hmm. Wow.
So that,
But
yeah.
and what about the noise gate?
Back then we didn't use noise gate.
So was the editing like you were cutting the just your hand?
Yeah,
Wow. Wow.
but now
Okay.
I'm lazy and old. I use a noise gate.
Ah.
Mm.
Yeah. No, because it's hard. It's hard to do that kind of read. Like they are really,
Yeah. One thing, it's like back then it was like it was very little distortion. Then it's much easier to make it stop, because if you have a lot of distortion, it's like
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, you're
and,
right.
you know.
Yes.
So it's like just a little bit too less of distortion, then it's like much easier to make that really hard, Also, the sound becomes more dynamic, punchy.
And the idea of using a slide for the truth, never heard before.
No, me neither. That was Arlen, the other guitar player. I remember I was out buying some food, and we were sitting every day in my small apartment trying to make songs. And I came back up, and we were like, trying everything to make sounds, And I
Yes.
came back up, and on my dinner table, like the guitar was lying like this, and he was sitting with a slide like this, and and oh, this is kind of cool, And then he invented the Cruise riff, So it's like that's his creds to Alan for making a sound that nobody ever heard before.
And what happened with Alan?
No, he just got enough. He didn't want to tour. He didn't want to play in a band, and it's a stressy atmosphere to be in a band. And he decided not to.
Yes.
Just he quit in 2003.
Okay, I get it. Yeah, it's not because all the people kind of have this dream image of a touring band. Of course, fun, but it's a lot of work, and sometimes you don't sleep very well, and you are away from your family, and you have the stress that shit happen. You
Yeah,
can get your boat broke and you are in the middle of nowhere and you have to to get there in 2 hours.
and it's
You
like
have
do you have like if you're on a tour, sometimes it's like 12, 15 people on the bus because you need to keep the budgets, So it's like it's too many people on the bus, and it's like there's no fucking privacy for 7 weeks, Okay. Then it's like it gets to your nerves some kind of way, even though everybody wants the same, but still it breaks down.
Yes, it's like every little detail that
hammer, like a fucking thunderstorm in the middle of the tour. Boom! That blows up, you know.
And
We
you have
we try to make it like after 3 weeks we go home. If we continue after 3 weeks, we start to fight. Easy as that.
Sure. No, because sometimes the little details are like, hey, Zach, you forgot to cover the stuff. Yeah, no problem. I take care of it. Zach, again, you forgot the stuff. you know, or it's like stuff that can be. It's like for me, having a band is like having a couple. You have to learn. So sometimes you match or you don't match. Sometimes it's really easy to get along. Sometimes you don't. So I was saying just as an example, but
Yeah.
you know what I mean.
I know exactly what you mean.
But you have any fun stories from the road? Like,
if we just continue talking, maybe I come up with something. I don't know.
no, I don't.
I remember one time, that what triggered me was like, because we were on this 7-week, 15 people in a bus tour, and in the middle of the tour we played Venezia, in Italy. And it was like,
Nice, yeah.
like everything was like this. Now it's just before. Now it's anytime.
Like this.
Yeah, exactly. And then it totally fucking blew up. Everybody was like, and then some kind of way that was good. It's like we got the air, like everything.
Sure.
After this,
Yeah.
And then, but I remember it's like some kind of way. It was some kind of way in the middle of it was the gig, and I remember Zach. He jumped so high up and so hard down in the stage, we went straight through the stage.
What?
He was standing there singing, So
No.
it's like, yeah. So luckily it wasn't like 4 meters down. It's like 1.5 meters or something. So, but it was him, through the stage, boom, standing with his microphone, just continue.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
No, I can imagine, especially when you start. I don't know about your whole experience, your career, but when you're starting, maybe, and you find some promoter that promise you some specifications that then you arrive to the venue and there's nothing like they told you. It never happened to you?
All the time, especially in Britain.
Really?
Yeah, in Britain it's like, at least back then it was like, I mean, we had a rider, but they didn't care.
Let's say rider. Oh, that's fun.
Yeah. Use it as firewood. But it was like sometimes the shows back in 94, I think it was. We did 18 gigs in Britain, and on pretty small places, We did some, decent places, but also a lot of small clubs and pubs. And it was, I mean, we drove in a van. We stayed at the hotel, luckily, because like showers were non-existing, Like we couldn't get a shower if we didn't have a hotel room. We couldn't get a shower,
Sure.
It was like you went in and you played, and you were sitting in the dressing room, which was the same as the toilet, and a little bit, maybe a little bit better than the toilet. But then, like 10 minutes after the gig, the promoter came saying, "Get out of here now! We're gonna have a disco. Get out!" Like
what?
Yeah.
No. It
10 minutes
doesn't let you even take a shower, nothing?
No, we didn't have showers. That's, as I told you, we didn't have showers.
Yeah.
But
wow.
like it was like 10, 15 minutes after, it's like, get out of here.
Sure.
So
wow.
Yeah, it's kind of, it can be very demanding to be
Yes.
on the tour.
And what about the United States? When you guys play there?
Yeah, the story is this. We released the first album. Everything went straight to heaven in Europe, and of course the Americans started to get interested. But we had a song called "Nigger." Uh,
Sure.
uh, Before the album, a guy from the record company went to the States, and he went to see some record companies, and they just said, "No way, this doesn't
This is radioactive.
absolutely not possible." And well, it's understandable. I have total respect for that, and maybe they thought we didn't have respect, but we have. But it's really it's really because of that song we never made it like.
Sure.
We tried to signed a deal a little bit later that just went down the drain as well. So we decided, after a couple of years of trying to do something in America, let's just forget it. Don't use up all the energy on America. Let's concentrate on everything that's good here instead of trying to conquer the world. So we decided to stay in Europe. Let's go for Europe.
Yes.
And
you went to South America.
yeah,
I was there.
you was there in Chile.
Yeah. I was there. I was saying, what the fuck is this band?
Yeah.
And no, but it was so, I was ashamed because I was huge. Well, I love your album. I think was at the time you released Use Your Brain. I think, but
yeah, maybe it was just about nearly the same time.
Yes. So I already had seen the clip of The Truth. I already have Deaf and Blind. So I said, what? Clawfinger is... Because you were at it at the last time in a festival. Because I can give you some context. Around that time, we were just having democracy again, because was 17 years... No. Yeah, 17 years of dictatorship. Yeah. So all the people were like, "What?" So there's a lot of they organized a two-day festival with I think it was Fey No More, Therapy, Megadeth, and you guys play the same day that Megadeth, and most of the guys that went there was Megadeth. Yeah. So during your set, well, Megadeth, but I was like, "Shut up! I want to, I want to listen to Clawfinger." Yeah, I like Megadeth, but I was more fan of Clawfinger than Megadeth at that time, and yeah, I love it. And that show was flawless. Well, except now I watch it again. I saw that Zach forgot one of the words. But but all the sound was like, wow, how they do that? How the guitar tone. Now I know your secret. So
yeah, I mean, it's a good story from that gig because the Chilean audience had some kind of the tradition, a very special tradition, and we were about to go on stage, and Dave Mustaine was just standing on the side of the stage, and it's like, and I was wondering why he doesn't usually want to see us play. He was looking really weird in his face, and it's like, and he said, "Do you know what's going to happen?" He said, "No, I don't know." I said, "They're going to spit at you." And it's like the Chilean audience had this tradition of
no. Let me give you some context.
Okay, please.
No. We're not savages. Trust me. It's just that, well, the context is simple. We were going out from a 17 years dictatorship. People were a little overexcited, and they are like I don't know, football fans, a little less tolerate that the European crowd. So if they want to see Megadeth and you're not Megadeth,
So
well,
they
spit on
hate,
you.
they hate us. Thank you for telling me, Ivan.
Yeah, it was nothing personal. Maybe they were liking your music, but what's a specific time? Now people are more civilized.
I mean,
But
I totally loved it. We played there and we saw all these faces. We saw your faces, and we could see that a lot of people really loved it. So
yeah, of course.
we really had a good time playing.
Even that don't understand the words, the first time they listen your song, something very cathartic at that time. For them, for most of them, because the problem is that around that time access to that kind of music was not very easy.
No.
You have to go to a very specific record store, pay very expensive prices. So of course, there was a lot of tape trading.
Yeah,
but
I about this tape trading, and it's like they also told us when we got to Argentina. It's like Pantera could sell out a stadium on 20,000, and they only sold like 5,000 copies of the
was like a Spotify before Spotify.
Yeah, exactly.
No, but was a great show. So I don't know if you're busy. We already talked about 1 hour. I don't know if you.
Yeah, this is fine, So
Yes.
I'm happy to speak to you, Ivan. So thank you for the interview.
No, but thanks to you. It was really great to know all the details behind you, all those amazing albums. And to finish, I will just gonna ask you what is next for Clawfinger. I know you released a new song last year.
Yeah, we released the song last year. We are really slow in songwriting. We want to, but it doesn't happen, So
yes,
every now and then it happens, and then we release it. And so me and Zach have some, he sent me a demo here the other day, and I sent back riffs. And I don't know if it's going to happen. I really hope so.
No, that will be cool.
I have to mention, in my life right now, I have my new project.
Yes.
Kick project, so called Grown, with a good friend and an old bandmate of me here from Arendal, Norway. So if you haven't listened to it, the band is called Grown, and the song is called Stay Calm. That's the first single. We're going to release an album in February.
That's cool. And what? Well, I think I heard the song. It's kind of the singer is kind of remind me like heavy metal style, or more. I don't know.
It's a riff.
Grown. Yes.
Like riff like this, And it's a Corona song. It's our Corona song. It's a stay calm. He screams, It's like, yeah.
This one.
Yeah, there you are.
Grown. And what it mean?
It means we wondered if we should call the band old because we are so fucking old. But, okay, let's call the band Grown because we are overgrown, I guess. But we love this, so we will continue doing this, And it's like cool. It's the Corona time. It's like I can't go to Sweden. I'm not allowed to go to Sweden. They can't come here, So it's like we can't do something. We can do something over the net, and we can play. And I have time over, and I had like a lot of songs in my, that I didn't use for Clawfinger that I didn't think really fitted. It was like a different style.
Okay.
I write all the time, So I decided some years ago I would try to make an album out of this.
That's great.
And then I had my very good friend Harald, which is an excellent singer, and he started singing vocals. And yes, let's release this shit.
No, that's great. Stay calm.
So we released
Where's
it
the
in
link?
the middle of February. This is just a single.
I'm trying to find the. Oh, there you are. But where's the video? I was sure I saw a video.
Yeah, it should be there, down there somewhere. I can find it.
This one.
You found it?
Yes. Can you listen?
I hear very vaguely.
Exclusive. In front of the bunker.
Yeah, but I can't hear anything. It's like just something for. I can't hear anything even.
Really?
No, not just single sound. It's like death right now.
Sorry. Wrong window. Now it's okay. Technical problems.
Yeah. There you go.
Exclusive.
Yeah.
I hope Facebook don't copyright strike me.
Plague is coming, she moves from door to door, cloaked in isolation you never seen before. Silent killer, a weaker soul than you. Old people dying, the younger let it through. Stay calm, just stay calm. Stay calm.
Very cool riff.
Just stay calm. Lambs to slaughter, scapegoat.
Great
Yeah.
riff.
So
Red
it was
riff.
really nice talking to you, Ivan. So maybe we
Thank
could
you.
speak some other time about drone, you know?
Yeah, no problem. I just wanna show the people a little bit
Yeah.
of your
When you're
music.
out in the middle of February, maybe we can speak something about that.
Yes, no
We'll
problem.
definitely tell you when we make a new song with Clawfinger. You'll be the first to know. I promise.
Yes, yes, and remix would be nice.
What do you mean?
I would love to make a remix for Clawfinger.
Oh yeah, yeah, sure.
Can I make a remix?
Yeah, sure. We just need to find some files for you then.
Oh yes, that's a problem, right?
Yeah. No, but we have files for like the previous song, maybe.
Yes, that will be
Yeah.
perfect. It will be a dream come true.
I will speak to the other guys about that.
No
I'll get
problem.
back to you.
Okay, Baard.
Thank you, Ivan.
Thank you very much for your time, and take care.
The
Stay
same to you.
safe. Stay sane.
Stay sanitized.
Yes. Bye, my friend. Take care.
Bye bye.